September 21st. Why do I keep repeating September 21st? Because that's when the Ocala residents have the privilege of helping determine how Ocala is governed. By voting, Ocala residents then have a voice in local issues. Every vote matters. Voting is a privilege. It's also your responsibility. If you don't vote, you give up the right to complain about the outcome. So what are you going to be doing on September 21st? You're going to go out and vote September 21st.
Shamrock Security Systems, 629-3223. Shamrock Security Systems is located here in Ocala, Florida. Shamrock Security Systems is a top-rated alarm company offering 24/7 monitoring, video surveillance, fire and flood protection. You'll sleep a little better once the job is done. Shamrock Security Systems for over 31 years. 629-3223. Get a 100% free quote from Shamrock Security. 629-3223.
Get out and vote. September 21st is the election for the city of Ocala. It's nonpartisan, so whether you're a Democrat or Republican doesn't matter. It's a perfect time for all registered Ocala voters to be heard concerning local issues. Every vote matters. Don't let someone else speak for you by not voting. Apathy about voting has become somewhat of a problem. Get out and vote. Be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Tune in to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors, Sunday mornings at 8 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Listen Sunday mornings at 8 to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors.
Our firm offers insurance services.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need for your golf outing. That's the Ocala Golf Club. Experience country club style golf at municipal prices. You won't go wrong with the Ocala Golf Club. Call them for a tee time today, 352-401-6917.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala. Candidate forum for District 4 City Council will take place in studio, but right now, anybody heading to college, you already know, tuition is not getting any cheaper. What about the other costs? Textbooks, technology, calculators, computers, clothing, food, the lattes you need. It can often be easy to find yourself racking up a whole lot of debt before you even have a degree. Now, joining us with some tips and tricks to help parents and students prepare for these growing costs and find ways to save money is money expert and veteran financial network anchor Nicole Lapin. Nicole, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tom.
I know a thing or two about rising costs. My graduate degree cost me quite a bit of money that keeps seeming to grow instead of getting less, because the more I pay on it, the more that the student loan bill doesn't seem to go away. I wish I'd have had somebody like you that could have talked me through some of these tips, because I went 30 years ago. Tuition's gotten a whole lot more expensive these days. It's almost, if I was a parent, I'd think it was cost productive to send my kid to college.
Yeah, we all wish we had somebody talk to us about this stuff, because we don't learn it in school. Listen, if I were in charge of the world, that wouldn't be the case. But we don't learn financial literacy. We learn a bunch of stuff like the Pythagorean theorem. I'm not sure exactly when we're going to need to know that. But I think it would have been way more valuable if we learned how to budget or do our taxes. And so going back to school absolutely can be expensive. So I would suggest, there are ways that you can save. There are tricks and hacks, especially when it comes to all the supplies that you're going to need. So all the notebooks and clothes and dorm supplies. I would suggest to wait as close to back to school time if you haven't started yet, or just after, when the season comes to a close, when you're going to get the best prices. You should also save your receipts, because a lot of retailers will price match after prices drop. And course materials or textbooks, often the biggest expense. So take advantage of new technology there. Companies like Pearson, they're finally getting into disrupting the textbook market and bringing down prices for students. Hallelujah. There's a new Pearson Plus app, Tom. It looks and feels more like Spotify or Netflix than an ebook app, honestly. When I went to school, it was like $200 in some cases for a textbook. But now students,
easy.
Yep.
My
and now
some of my history.
That's not the case.
Yeah, some of my history books were $180 to $250 30 years ago.
Whew. Yikes. It's really expensive when you're buying individual titles. So I would suggest to do a subscription to an app like Pearson Plus for $14.99 a month, where you can get access to 1,600 titles or more.
You know, one of the hacks that I learned while I was in college that a lot of people don't know, every textbook that classes are offered, and I don't know if this is across the board, but it was at my university and where I went to graduate school, every textbook that is offered, there are 2 copies of reference. They're called reference copies that are in the library. So I actually use that as a hack. Instead of buying the textbook, sometimes I just go sit in the library for 6-8 hours with the reference book and do my reading and stuff that way. But now I could do it on an app and do a subscription and do it on an app, so I can sit in my living room and do it. How easy is that?
It's so much easier, right? You know, you can save hundreds of dollars a semester if you do it that way. And this isn't like an old school, just open up a PDF. You know, this immersive app technology like Pearson Plus will let you take notes in the app. So you can highlight key points in a bunch of different colors if you want. You can turn your notes and highlights into virtual flashcards, and you can even get discounts for things like virtual tutoring, which saves you time and money. You can listen to the audio version of your books at 1.5 times the speed or even double the speed. So yeah, this is not sitting in the library and reading your reference textbook, although I do love that hack for you. You know, Tom, times are changing. So
Yeah,
I think that this is kind of a win-win-win.
Let's talk for a minute, though, because parents, when they send a kid off to college, it's probably, unless it's an only child, they still have children at home. So they're still dealing with the finances of taking care of the children at home and dealing with the finances of mortgage and car payments and everything that parents deal with at home. But now they have to start dealing with the financial constraints or strains of sending a kid off to college with dorm room money or apartment money and to pay for utilities and everything. What are some of the things with so much to keep track of? How can parents balance their own financial planning and the college-bound kids at the same time?
It's such a great question, and I think one of the most important things for parents to keep in mind is to put your oxygen mask on first before helping others, even your kids. If you're struggling with your own finances or having trouble saving for your own retirement, you really have to get yourself organized before helping the kiddos out. I think it's fantastic to want to help them out if you can, but there are tons of financial aid opportunities, grants, and scholarships for students, and there are none for retirement. So remember that students, your kids, learn about personal finance from their parents first. And unfortunately, most high schools, like we mentioned, they don't teach this stuff. They don't offer personal finance classes. I wish they did. You know, they barely do in college. So money management responsibility often falls on the parents. So if you're more financially responsible, they're more likely to be as well.
How can parents encourage the kids, though, that are gone off to college to do this on their own, to stay on top of their own finances, to make sure that they understand, don't go fill out that credit card application because they give you a nice little cheap backpack that goes with it with a 35% interest, $300 credit limit where you end up more in debt with that credit card. How can parents get their kids ready for all the things they're going to face so they can control their own finances as young adults?
Well, it's explaining some of what debt even means or what compound interest even means and why that backpack is just not worth it. And I would suggest to parents to, really take advantage of student discounts. Use your student ID. Tell your kids to remember wherever possible to try and get a discount. Even at Apple, Tom, which rarely offers discounts, is offering an educational discount for back-to-school time. Some providers offer free trials and discount codes for their products as well. So just remind them that it's not free money, and you work hard for your money. You might as well have your money work hard for you. I think with students and parents, you can get cash back together. You can both use apps like Rakuten, which offer cash back, or Fetch Rewards or Ibotta. Apps like that give you cash back when you upload receipts. So if you're going to pay full price, I would suggest you try to get money on the flip side.
We got about 3 minutes left with Nicole Lapin. She is a money expert, giving us some tricks of the trade on how to make college more affordable as it comes. Now, what about those that kids aren't yet in college? They may be in middle school or high school or elementary school even, but the large bill's looming. When they get 18, 19, they go to college. That bill's coming. What are some of the things parents can do now to better prepare themselves for that large bill that's coming at 18 or 19-year-old for that child?
Well, it's coming. If they're going to go to college,
trade school anywhere. If it's trade school anywhere, yeah.
Any of the schools, online as well. The earlier you start, the better. Along with 529 savings plans, which you've probably heard about that are college.
Florida has a pretty good one.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, that, as you know, grows free of federal income taxes. Another idea is if you qualify, open up a Roth IRA. So you invest after-tax money, but then it grows tax-free, and you can withdraw that money anytime without penalty as long as you're using it for higher education costs. You should also dig into scholarships and grants. Tom, there are so many out there, and my suggestion is try to be niche and specific with your interests, because then you're going to have less competition for those scholarships and grants. So think about, am I the first kid to attend college? Maybe there's a special grant or scholarship for that, which is true.
Nicole, we got about 30 seconds. Tell people where they can go find more information to get more assistance in helping.
Absolutely. You can head over to pearson.com to have more information and use my checkout code, Nicole10, to get 10% off, because I'm a nice lady like that, Tom.
Nicole, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
We'll be back after this timeout with the candidates from District 4 right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
It's time for Farmer Range headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. The peanut industry is still trying to ship peanuts abroad, but having a slight trouble with containers. Containers are a shortage right now. The World Trade Centers are reporting that the preventative measures and restrictions to operate have caused a strong shortage of containers for shipping. This comes amid a strong revival in world trade. The low supply with high demand drives rates up, they said. The minimum delay to ship is 1 month, and for some destinations, there's no certainty of cargo.
The Washington Post, first reporting the trip, added that the pair spent less than 24 hours in country. In their statement, the congressman added that after seeing the situation, they did not believe the evacuations can be completed by the August 31st deadline.
The Supreme Court of the United States ruled against the Biden administration Tuesday and is demanding the Remain in Mexico immigrant program be put back into law. The vote was 6-3. USA Radio News.
You take steps to stay healthy when at the pharmacy picking up vitamins or filling a prescription.
May I help you?
Take another healthy step right now and ask the pharmacist how Prevnar 13 can help protect you from pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease. If you're 65 or older, a trip to the pharmacy is a lot more pleasant than a trip to the hospital because of pneumococcal pneumonia. Help protect yourself with the Prevnar 13 pneumococcal 13-valent conjugate vaccine, diphtheria CRM197 protein. Prevnar 13 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 13 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 13 does not protect against all strains of the disease. Stop by the pharmacy today and ask about Prevnar 13. Learn more at Prevnar13.com. Don't get Prevnar 13 if you have had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with a weakened immune system may have a lower response